Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Year of Underrated Stephen King podcast. This is a one-woman show hosted by me, Kim C., a university fiction teacher who long ago happily sold her soul to the writing of Stephen King, and here we are with a little podcast that could after 5 years in operation. Today, everyone, we are enjoying and celebrating some Stephen King on film, or rather, some Richard Bachman on film, with my latest thoughts having just viewed The Running Man. My goodness, friends, 2025 has been a Stephen King bop. Man, we've had so many fresh and new film and TV adaptations. Can you believe how many we've had this year? Oh my goodness, it's been busy, but ultimately so great. And boys and girls, do you know what was pretty great? This film. This was so much fun, and what I'm ultimately pleased to report is that I think we might have a film that has improved this Bachman novel. I might be a bit too soon in reporting that, as I think ultimately I would need another film watch and another reread of The Running Man. But buddies, okay, confession time. I have read The Running Man. I have my ducks in a row in that regard. I have an episode on it, episode 23. It is very old and very new in the Kim C podcasting adventure. Forgive the shoddy audio and Kim C rambling on into oblivion. But let me start with the fact that I haven't read all of the Bachmans. I still have a few more to tackle. I think I still need Roadwork, Thinner, a couple others, including The Regulators, which I'm actually really looking forward to reading. I would not call myself an expert on Bachman, but I do understand the differences between Bachman and King. I have read The Running Man and The Long Walk. And concerning The Running Man specifically, I remember kind of liking it, but it's ultimately the unfiltered Bachman-ness that isn't my favorite. I respect Bachman, I get it. King is composing fiction with double middle fingers to the reader and just going for it. I get it. I've had lots of students who do it. Mad props for the devil may care, rebel without a cause attitude. I understand. I respect it. But I remember not really caring for the character of Ben Richards. I found him very unlikable. I could take him, I could leave him, and I think I would have liked to have left him as soon as possible when I read that title. And there is a chunk I vividly remember that's early in the novel, pre-Running Man competition. It's where one of the ladies is offered to him a spoil to the victor sort of thing. And Ben Richards nonchalantly says, "I'm married, but I could rape her." It's wild, my guys. I know I don't have the quote exactly right, but I'm also not wrong. So if you want to fact check me, let's do this. That's what he says. And there are also other character elements from Ben Richards that are along those lines that make him not my favorite. And the novel itself is fine. The premise is amazing. But at the end of the day, The Running Man is not a novel I'm running to reread. See what I did there? Punny pun. But anyway, we're going to talk more source material later. But this episode is going to explore everything I liked about the film. Perhaps a critique or two might come forward, and also any questions I might have, but honestly, I'm not sure I have any questions, because I think this is one of those films that is so enjoyably digestible that one just lets go of all their questions because you're locked in for the ride. But maybe one or two might bubble up to the surface. The Running Man is directed by Mr. Edgar Wright of such previous films as Shaun of the Dead, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver, Ant-Man, and many more all-gas, no-brakes films that are so much fun to watch. Shaun of the Dead is a huge favorite of mine, and Scott Pilgrim is a film that my brothers constantly quote back and forth to each other. I think Edgar Wright is the perfect choice for this film adaptation, and I could tell we'll unpack more of this as we go, but the film is coming across as though he is a Stephen King fan, because we do have a lot of respect for the original source material. More on this later. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, much to praise, let's get into it. Before we take another step, spoilers are everywhere. Please make sure you've watched the film before you listen to any more of this episode, please and thank you. Let's start this party with my first point. Number 1, a media-saturated dystopian world. Friends, I tip my hat to how well they did coloring in the spaces to saturate the audience in a futuristic society that is both wealthy and impoverished, but on both sides of the income spectrum, there is free or reality television. The media is everywhere. One of the strongest examples we have in the film is the TV show called The Americanos, which is mirroring the real-life reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which has been on air for too many years, if you ask me. But that show is ultimately about rich people and their rich people, quote, problems. But in this society, in the year 2025, according to the novel, I don't recall seeing the year put anywhere, please correct me if I'm wrong, but assuming it's a 2025 somewhere out there, in this world of the haves and have-nots, game shows are part of the everyday experience. It's people trying to consistently get out of poverty by any means necessary, and so those in media are exploiting these poor people. Very similar to the young adult series by Susan Collins, The Hunger Games, in terms of how dire it is. King definitely was right on the money in terms of how a crumbling society would operate with its most unfortunate citizens. My first little bullet point under point number 1, set designs and costumes. For set design, I like how we have a mix between futurism and modernism. And it's somewhat subtle, somewhat loud, in a wonderfully balanced way. Hopefully everybody is well versed in their sci-fi films. If not, no worries, it's totally okay. For me, it's not the all-consuming Steven Spielberg's 2002's Minority Report, in which Spielberg actually had futurists on payroll to design what a society in 2051 Washington, D.C. would look like. It is masterful, it's incredible, but this film didn't go that hard. And we also didn't have the over-the-top Fifth Element, Jean-Paul Gaultier, wild, colorful, comic booky silliness like Luc Besson's film. It also isn't super Demolition Man as well. That one's pretty retro, early 90s. But I like that The Running Man is a mixture of both modern and futurist that is subtle and loud in a balanced way. I don't even know if that sentence makes sense, but it makes sense in my mind. We'll cut to one scene that is very, very futuristic. Lots going on, lots to unpack with the eyes. And then in the next scene, it looks very modern day. Nothing special, nothing razzle-dazzle. And then in the next frame, your eye will catch a little flying robot mailbox, but the cars are still old school. I feel we've got a great balance here. And I like that as the audience, we see both sides. We see the dire, claustrophobic, dark, and old co-op city. We have the urban sprawl that is dilapidated and run down. And then we have the flashy, sophisticated business district. We're in downtown where the costuming shows more luxury and less grit. And it was so wonderful to see all of that with my eyeballs. I was very, very happy in my movie theater chair. For costumes, some of my favorites are the jumpsuits and the retro pumas. Oh my gosh, friends, I love, love, love their jumpsuits, and he has these burgundy, brown, red retro pumas. For me, they look like my favorite tennis shoe of all time, which is the Nike Daybreakers. If you want to Google those are the only shoes that Kim C wears in terms of athletic shoes, sneakers, trainers, tennis shoes, whatever term you'd like to insert. Those are my absolute favorites. And the Pumas that he wears are very, very close. It makes me want to jump to Puma and get those exact shoes. I want them. I need them. I loved them. Secondly, the network girls with their tight black dresses and their golden laurel leaf belt buckles. Unsure if you guys noticed those, perhaps your eyes were elsewhere, and that is okay. But I just love cohesion. I love when they are thinking about design and that they are thinking about what's in front of the audience's eyes. And I, for one, I love to look at clothes. And I think clothes translate. They tell the story as well. And so when we are in the high rise of the network, speaking with Josh Brolin, who's our CEO, we've got gorgeous champagne flutes and beautiful women in tight black dresses with these golden leaf belt buckles that made me think of ancient Rome. I loved it, so beautiful, and translating a lot about the wealthy side of this society. Number 3, Sheila's super 90s blazer and pencil skirt. Firstly, huge shout out to our actress Alyssa Ben, who played Pearline in Sinners. Hopefully you guys all checked out Sinners this year. I think the hype is real. I saw it twice in the theater. It's definitely one of my favorite movies of 2025. Go see it if you haven't. But Alyssa Ben is stunningly beautiful, and the costume they put her in made me swoon. It's super duper 90s. Her hair is in a French twist, which is also very 90s. Black and white blazer with rhinestones along the border of the lapel. Oh my god, she looks so good. I adored every inch of her outfit. That's definitely got to be my favorite costume of the film. Number 4, the hoodie jacket combo. We see this a lot with our character of Ben Richards throughout the film. It's really indicative of the everyman, the working class individual. And I think Kevin Smith is the one who kicked that off with the film Dogma. I'm sure it's popped up in earlier films that I'm not aware of, but Ben Affleck and Matt Damon as the 2 ostracized angels in Dogma, I think they beautifully carried out the hoodie jacket combo with the hood sticking out of the back, and we see it here with our character of Ben Richards. And my 5th costume obsession is Macone. Macone everything, guys. Our number 1 hunter, played by actor Lee Pace, is a stunner. I love every aspect of his costume. The face mask, the brown leather coat, the artillery pants, the boots. Ugh, stunning, gorgeous, perfect. Lee Pace is everything, too. He's just so tall and wonderful. I love him as King of the Elves in Lord of the Rings. I love him in Guardians of the Galaxy. I love him here. What a star. Every article of clothing on the body of Macone as a character, Kim C was really into. Let's jump to our second big category. Number 2, I think Edgar Wright likes/appreciates Stephen King. It has been a hot minute. It's been a couple years since I've read The Running Man. But thankfully, I don't know how or why, my memory is like a steel trap when it comes to Stephen King fiction. And as I was watching the film and hearing about the characters named Sheila, Kathy, Co-op City, Freebie, when I saw the cab driver scene on the plane when Ben's stomach is cut open with a big shard of glass, I realized, oh damn, all of this is from the book. All of it! We even have this wonderful scene where the viewer sees Tabby's diner in the background. That's pretty precious, y'all. I really, really liked that. And so I'm getting the impression that Edgar Wright not only read The Running Man, but he stuck to it. And this leads me to my next point under this category, where Edgar Wright is doing something that I love filmmakers to do, which is to stay close to the source material, but then add in things. You keep the foundation the same. You keep the foundation solid. The story is untouched. But then you add in little enhancements. And that's why I feel The Running Man is a success. And that's what I think the mark of success is in a Stephen King adaptation for film or television. If you keep the integrity of the story, for the most part, intact, you can add any entertaining morsel that you want. For example, the ending. At the end of The Running Man, the novel, we have Ben Richards in the plane. He's been cut open and his intestines are falling out. Very graphic. Stephen King also does this with a character in The Long Walk, one of my favorites. Of course, his name is completely eluding me. This is what happens in podcasting land. But anyway, the novel of The Running Man ends with Ben Richards driving the plane into the network headquarters because he's basically dying anyway. And so Edgar Wright gives that to the viewer, but then he adds a little extra. And I think that's terrific. Rather than it ending tragically, he keeps the tone, he keeps the greater societal message, which is what he was going for, and he adds a little more to the buffet line, and I'm so pleased. I love that he kept the integrity of the text and then colored in some additional good stuff. I think another person who does this beautifully is Mike Flanagan. He'll keep the foundation of the story, and then he always adds additional content that helps the characters shine even brighter. Mr. Wright did that for the character of Ben Richards. On the plane, Ben is convinced that his family is dead, that everything was for nothing, but Wright gives him the last laugh, and we get a terrific final sequence that technically did not occur in the novel, but it's okay because we got all of the novel's main points with a few more extras. And I'm so pleased with this, everybody. Take notes for anybody who is planning to adapt any Stephen King in the future. Number 3, huge category here, folks, that I am calling That Body Baby. Let's talk about it. Mr. Glen Powell is our actor who plays Ben Richards. I haven't seen him in too many things, but I really enjoyed him in Twisters from last year, I believe. And one thing that I really enjoy about Mr. Powell is that this is a Texas boy, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I can't really explain it. I just need you to feel me on this. But Texas is a state of mind, a state of being. And of course, not all who reside in the state of Texas exude this, but many a Texas male embody it. And I comment on it because I've seen it my entire life. With cowboys and rodeo stars in my hometown of New Mexico and Arizona, they're everywhere. And everybody, this man, Mr. Glen Powell, is from Texas in mind, body, and spirit. Just hear me out on that, solidify it in your mind. It's not a bad thing, but it's a thing, and it's something I noticed about him before he was half naked in front of my face. So let's get into it. Okay, suddenly about halfway into the film, Mr. Powell is almost nude with a carefully placed towel around his waist. And we have a very glistening post-shower body, very muscly, traps for days. We got a body on display, everybody. And it's coming across tonally as a bit comedic. And I think that's the point. It's so over the top. I think the audience is supposed to chuckle. At least I did. Or if you're into that, you can swoon, I guess. But here's how I reacted to this very muscly, nearly nude man in a barely there towel. Point A. Firstly, I think this is from the text. I'm pretty sure we have an action sequence with Ben Richards post-shower. I think this is from the book, guys, which I love it. Good job. Point B. Secondly, I wonder at what stage of the filming process this occurred. Because if you all remember, everyone, remember when I was talking about how much I love the jumpsuits? Well, Ben Richards, along with the other Running Man contestants, we see them in a scene where they are walking down a long corridor in a almost skin-tight jumpsuit. And Glen Powell's frame is very much on the lean side. Definitely not as bulky. So I wonder how the shooting schedule worked. Most actors for film and television are on the lean/slender side because sadly you have to be to look good on film. It is one of those sad, sad truths. But in the middle of the film, we have a jarring transformation where Ben is no longer lean and lithe, but bulky and glistening with muscle. Point C. Thirdly, boys and girls, not many people have perfect genetics where you could look like that and eat whatever you want. So I highly, highly doubt Mr. Powell was enjoying pizza and beer for a good long while. Therefore, good people, when I see a body like that, do you know what I think and feel so strongly? Suffering. I see suffering. I bet you cash money that Mr. Powell was working out twice a day minimum, eating nothing but air and sunlight for months and months and months. This man has not had a carbohydrate in most likely a year. Guys, do you know what that does to the human soul? Granted, I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, all he has to do is look at his hefty bank account with all those zeros, and that would even out the suffering. But guys, no, I'm sorry. Life is so short. And yes, being rich is cool, being famous is cool, being healthy is important, but the extreme diet workout plan for 2 to 3 minutes on screen, I mean, I guess it all balances out. I guess. Not for me, though. Oh, man. Anyway, long story short, I am not one to lust over muscles. If you have them, great, bonus. But in this moment, I'm looking at Glen Powell as he's running around, oily and muscly, and I just feel bad for the guy. I would much rather flirt with you over a glass of wine and some truffle fries than find out what your caloric deficit is. Ugh, this poor lamb. Once more, they're wealthy performers and we shouldn't feel too bad for them, but I do, my guys. It's intense training and deprivation to look like that, and I can only focus on how much they had to give up. That guy sat alone in his apartment for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. You can't go out to dinner? You can't have a cocktail? Oh, it's so sad. Point D, final point. He looks good, he looks great, full-on Adonis moment, and I do believe this was from the novel, pretty sure, if not very close. But, ladies and gentlemen, we could have done without it. Ben Richards could have kept his clothes on. After all, if it was a woman, we'd be up in arms that she was being objectified. Well, Mr. Powell is indeed being objectified, and I guess I kind of support it because it's staying close to the source material and the very fun spirit of the film, so we're going with it. But at the same time, he is being objectified, and without it, we as the viewers could have gone on living just fine, and Mr. Powell could have suffered a whole lot less. Just saying. My fourth point is pacing. I touched on this a little bit, but I think Edgar Wright's films are synonymous with fast pacing, quick cuts, jaunty little jumps, and I think that's where the style and charm come from. The audience, as I mentioned earlier, you might have a question or two, but the action is moving too fast for you to linger on it, and so you let it go and enjoy the ride, and that's what I did with this film. It did help that I had read the novel previously, and I do recommend that to everyone in general, because I think we have a really strong film that has improved Bachman's story. And now that you've watched the film, if you haven't read the novel or if you're thinking about reading it again, I actually think that's a great move because now you have all these solid visuals in your mind to enhance Bachman's storytelling. I recommend this. I think it would be a good move, but I have zero complaints on the pacing. It works, it's great, it's a quick cut thrill ride with a modern message that loudly echoes from within our own reality, our own modern societal issues. Fascinating stuff for sure. But I really like this one, guys. This was terrific fun, and I loved how close it was to the story. Mesmerizing. Totally great. My fifth and final point, I really wanted to give a round of applause to my favorite actor in this film, Colman Domingo. I really like Glen Powell, of course. Alyssa Ben is stunning. We've got a lot of charming actors, but Colman Domingo is our MC for the Running Man competition. He has his glitzy suits. I just love this actor. I've seen him in a lot of amazing films. I think he's so much fun. I like that we get to see many facets of him. Behind the camera, he's really brash and upfront and all business, and then behind the camera, he's just a showman. And I like this so much. I love the structure of the film, how it's cut with the very manipulated images of the Running Man competition. We see the character of Ben Richards as consistently being altered to fit their own narrative, which is shockingly timely these days. I just love Coleman Domingo, and he was the performer who I loved the most out of the cast. Everyone did so great. This is such a fun film that adds so much energy into the Bachman novel. And that's why I encourage you watch the film first and then read the book, which I don't think I've ever said ever in the history of my Stephen King podcasting and Stephen King fandom. Yeah, I definitely have never said it ever. You can read the book first, but I don't know, I wouldn't. I think we have so many wonderful elements to feast upon with one's eyes that your reading experience will be so much more enhanced if you watch the film before reading the book. Oh, that's so crazy. It feels so wrong, but I really do believe it's a strong move. All right, everyone, let's do a little recap of what I thought about Edgar Wright's The Running Man. Number 1, a media-saturated dystopian world. I loved the set design and costumes, specifically the jumpsuits and retro pumas, the network girls in their tight black dresses and golden laurel leaf belt buckles. Number 3, Sheila's super 90s blazer and pencil skirt with that rhinestone-encrusted lapel. So beautiful. Number 4, the hoodie jacket combo of the working man / freedom fighter / Ben Richards. And last, number 5, McCone's everything. Every article of clothing McCone wore, I loved. Number 2, I think Edgar Wright likes / appreciates Stephen King. I totally believe it. All of our character names were straight from the book. Many of the scenes were directly from the book. They may have had different outcomes, but I didn't care. We had the foundation of the story. It worked so well. I especially loved Tabby's Diner. Did you guys catch that in the background? So precious. And ultimately, I give a nice curtsy to Mr. Wright for keeping the integrity of the story and adding some razzle-dazzle to augment and amplify the source material. Nothing better. Number 3, that body baby. We have a very lovely Texas man, almost naked. I think it was from the book. Pretty sure it was. I think it's a little clunky in terms of seeing Glen Powell look a certain way at the beginning and then see him add 20 pounds of muscle halfway in, but whatever. Thirdly, I only see suffering when I see a body like that. Yes, it's beautiful, but is it worth the suffering? For me, it isn't. And I guess 4th point, he looks good, but we could have done without it. We didn't need it. I appreciate that we're staying close to the source material, so it's fine that it's in there, but ultimately, if that was cut, I don't think you or I would have been upset about it. And Mr. Powell could have had a nice Christmas, everyone. Number 4, pacing. And number 5, my favorite cast member is Coleman Domingo, who is our Running Man MC, our host of the Running Man competition. I, for whatever reason, could not find his character name. He's not listed on IMDb. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But if anybody knows his character name, please let me know immediately. I need to remedy this. But Coleman Domingo, I love that actor, and I really love him in this film. All right, everybody, before we dip on out of here, I have an extra special Kim C bonus. As I was compiling my Running Man notes, I thought to myself, what are my favorite Stephen King film adaptations? I actually don't know. So I wrote them down, and I have a top 10. Can't believe it, but here is my tentative top 10. I feel really solid about my top 5. I don't think the top 5 are going to budge anytime soon. 6 through 10 can move around a little bit, but top 5, it's going to be real hard to shake them down from that tree. Okay, number 1, as a lot of you listeners will not be surprised in the slightest, my first choice is Storm of the Century. Number 2, sitting next to Storm of the Century at the gold table is Shawshank Redemption. Then The Green Mile. We have to have both of Frank Darabont's films right next to each other because they're perfect. Number 4. This is a wild one, but it's so deserving. Absolutely top 5. Lacey's Story. This was directed by Pablo Larraín. You could still watch it on Apple TV. Ooh, buddies, if you have not seen this, I shake my head. This is extraordinary. Stephen King penned all the episodes. It is a complete gift to readers of the novel. The visualizations are stunning. It is so artistic, beautifully rendered. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is gorgeous. And number 5, The Life of Chuck by Mike Flanagan. Ugh. I don't even want to talk too much about it because I'll start crying. It's just perfect and wonderful, and I hope you were able to catch it this year. Number 6, Dr. Sleep, specifically the director's cut by Mike Flanagan. Number 7, The Outsider, which was a series on HBO. I think one of the showrunners was Richard Price from The Wire. This was extraordinary. We also have the actress Cynthia Erivo playing Holly Gibney. I think she did an extraordinary job. This is such a wonderful amalgamation of police procedural and the supernatural. It is a wonderful sandwich. I love, love, love this one. Number 8, The Long Walk. This also came out this year. Bleak, horrifying, stunningly beautiful. I really, really, really loved it, but I don't want to see it again for a good long while. Number 9, Stand By Me. You guys know how wonderful it is. And number 10, we have a tie for 10th place with It from 1990. The 1990 miniseries with Tim Curry as Pennywise the Clown. I love it so much. I think it really captures the heart of the book. I do. I'll fight anybody who disagrees with me. And then I'm giving 10th place to The Running Man. I am, guys. This was a delight. This did a beautiful job of capturing the heart of the book, staying true to the source material, but making a popcorn thrill ride. That's no easy feat. So for right now, we're keeping The Running Man tied for 10th place. It might be knocked down to 11th, or it might be bumped up higher in the count, unknown. But those are Kim C's 10 favorites. One more time, Storm of the Century, Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, Lacey's Story, The Life of Chuck. Those are our top 5, followed by Dr. Sleep, the director's cut, The Outsider, The Long Walk, Stand By Me, and tied for 10th, The Running Man, and the 1990 miniseries of It. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are keeping it short and sweet today. I hope November is treating you well. If you would like to say hello to me, please do so at underratedsk@gmail.com. I will respond back to you promptly as I'm able to, given my grading schedule and my other podcasting endeavors. You can also message me on the socials. I am on Instagram and Threads the most. And if you would like to explore some additional content from Kim C, please head to my Patreon, The Dance Macabre with Kim C, where for the low price of $222 US, you can unlock my extra special coverage of Stephen King television adaptations, Stephen King females, Stephen King short stories, and many more wild bonus episodes where Kim C lets her freak flag fly for all ye listeners. At the moment, I am covering the brand new HBO miniseries, It, Welcome to Derry. I am gearing up for episode number 4 that is on the Patreon, so if you would like more content from me, head on over there. It would be great to have you join us. In the meantime, my next episode will be a Lacey story reread with a friend of mine, Calvin Ellis. Calvin is a Colorado horror author and Stephen King expert. I am so looking forward to chit-chatting with him about what I believe is the most difficult, rewarding, and underrated Stephen King novel out there, Lacey's Story. Stay tuned. Thank you guys so very much for listening. Take care, and bye-bye.